80s, the satanic manifestation of, listen, different forms of Satanism, yes. Oh, the popular version, the Michael Aquino version, the Temple of Set, but then the traditional and the psycho-Satanists like, well, Richard Ramirez. I can remember all the way back into the 80s as we were engaging young Satanists at high schools reading the Satanic Bible, the ABCs of witchcraft, doing Enochian chants, unleashing powers and doing rituals and cutting animals and burning them, and all the tombstones knocked over by the dabblers in the cemeteries. That gave rise to a search and a research that led us to many of those who are deeper, darker practitioners of the ancient black flame, the ancient brotherhood, the real Luciferians, not just the traditional Satanists like the Cathedral of the Black Goat, where they do worship Satan, where they do embrace and conjure demons, where they make pledges and oaths and commitments, where they renounce Christ. Maybe by the providence of God, you're one of them, and you're listening now. Maybe by the grace of God, there's a gripping of your heart, a gripping of your mind. You are so close, not just to the black flame, but to the final flames, the great white throne judgment. What God has said in the past is absolutely accurate in the coming of Christ. Take a look. What has he done? Why would you reject him so deeply? Where did your anger come from? Where did the bitterness, the rage? How could it be that someone created by the living God in unique creation reject the Creator in human flesh, reject the cross and the blood that would set you free and give you the gift of eternal life, all the while to embrace the hedonism of the black flame? Russian Satanists who also bought into the dark side were caught. They decimated their victims and then ate them. You can read story after story through the 80s and especially through the 90s. The sheer numbers of satanic covens, the sheer numbers and styles of Satanism that has unfolded in contemporary culture. The UK is worse. Europe is far worse. And the sugar-coated New Age movement that preaches and lives off the very doctrine of the fallen cherub, a promise that if there is a rejection of the personal living infinite God, the creator of mankind, and an embrace of a promise of spiritual evolution, elitist secretive knowledge, a transmutation to lead the finite humanity to deification. New Age doctrine, New Age spirituality, summed up in a nutshell, a mirage. A mirage. A mirage in a spiritual desert where thirsty, hungry, fallen humanity seeks the embrace of the Creator, but exchanging the glory of God for a lie. The dust of death, the dust of deception. The spiritual hunger, the spiritual thirst is not quenched. A mouth of seductive spiritual sand. Another mouthful. Eclectic alternative spirituality, but not the God of heaven. The fallen cherub, God says of him in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4, the God, small g, the God of this age, has blinded the minds of unbelievers, so they cannot see the light of the glory of the gospel of Christ, who is the icon, the image, the exact representation, who is God in human flesh. Satanic groups have forged alliances, Yahoo group meetings all over the nation. Every single holiday, the drum beat gets louder again and again. You begin to hear about satanic crime. But beyond the satanic crimes, few of which get reported, are the many different grottos, the many different places where individuals will dance with the demons, dance on dark razor blades. Beyond the popular versions of Satanism, beyond the public access to satanic books and materials, lies a darker stream, a stream of the Luciferians, a stream of the ancient Satanists that go way back to the Europeans, possibly to the Merovingian bloodlines, all the way back to the forms of satanic worship that embrace Lucifer as the shining one. Albert Pike spoke about him as the light bearer. Luciferians of generations past have kept the black flame alive through the blood of its victims. The agenda of the dark side has so totally outwitted them and offered to them the secretive elitist knowledge. They have felt the powers. They've tasted the blood. They've engaged the demons. They've experienced the powers of darkness in a vacuum, in the context of the absence of the embrace of God, the love of God, the power, the infinite power of God. It would seem as though darkness shines. The undergrounders, hundreds of thousands of rituals through Europe, through the UK, Canada, Australia, packed across the United States. The rise of the victims of satanic ritual abuse. Very few in the 70s, hundreds to the thousands in the 80s. In the 90s, the figures reached the millions. Psych wards packed. Cult crime units trying to nail down an elusive, satanically coated, empowered, stealth, underground system. Beyond just the secret societies, the Luciferians connected to the satanic agenda at Bohemian Grove, Ravenswood, Ravens Tower, Palatine, Italy, so many other places, the Black Forest in Germany, ancient ritual places, in the caverns and caves, double basements, even the mill labs. The powers have been engaged and unleashed. The goal to create satanic super soldiers, to create those who will do the bidding of Satan himself, the ancient brotherhood. Tracking satanic ritual abuse, bringing healing has been the number one issue, yes. But tracking who's behind, if there are 4.5 million victims of satanic ritual abuse, the question is, who are the perpetrators? If there are millions of victims, how many perpetrators? If the information goes back to the belief systems of the